Hello, good morning to all. I am Regina, Assistant Professor, Department of Social Work, GTN Arts College. Now I am going to deal about the paper on Introduction to Methods of Social Work. There are three methods, that is social casework, social group work and community organization. Now we are going to deal about what is social casework. Social casework. Social casework is a primary method of social work. So it is one primary method of social work. It is concerned with the adjustment and development of individuals towards more satisfying relations in different situations. It is a social casework is mainly going to deal with an individual. So it is an adjustment and development of an individual. So it is one which is a caseworker and individual are to adjustment and development of an individual. So it must be a satisfying relations in all situations. It follows a systematic approach to study and diagnose the client's problems. So it is a systematic approach. So we have to follow for a social worker, we have to follow the systematic approach to study and diagnose the client's problems. So now we are going to see about definition of social casework. There are many different scientists has been these social caseworks. So for examples, there are many scientists. Now we are going to see about three scientists. That is, according to Warren Brown, social casework is a method of social work which intervenes in the psychosocial aspect of person's lives. So it is an intervention of psychosocial problems of different person's life. That is, to improve, to restore, to maintain and to enhance. So all these, to improve means we have to improve the individual, to restore means we have to restore the individuals, to maintain, we have to maintain a good relationship, so to enhance, we have to enhance the problems. So this is a social functioning by improving the social problems. So all these four characteristics have to be a social casework that has been defined by Warren Combe. Next we are going to see about what as a Matthew Richmond has said about social casework. So social casework may be defined as art of doing different things with different people, cooperating with them to achieve some of their own and society's betterment. So she has defined as social casework is an art of doing different things with different people and is cooperating with them to their society's betterment. So next we are going to see about objectives of social casework. There are some objectives of social casework. So they are to make good rapport with common people. So first objective, as an individual, as a caseworker, we must have a good rapport with common people, that means all people of the society. Next we are going to see about to find out and understand and solve the internal problems of individual. So as a caseworker, first we have to find out the clients and have to understand the client, and then we have to solve the problems of the individuals. Third one is to strengthen one's ego power. So we have, as an individual, first we have to strengthen about ego power. So what is an ego? Ego means we have to control ourselves and we have to deal with the client. To prevent problem, so we must be we help them to prevent problem of the individual. To develop intermental resources, so we have to develop the intermental resources of the individuals. So these are the objectives of social casework. Next we are going to deal about nature of social casework. So nature of social casework has 8 steps. What they are is, in social casework, relationship contains elements of acceptance, expectation, support and stimulation. So in a casework relationship, a client and the individual must have an acceptance. First we have to accept the client, then expectations. You must not accept anything from the client. First we have to see what they are and accept as what they are. Then is support and stimulation. So we must support the problem, support the individual, support the client, and we have to stimulate them. So we have to be as a social caseworker, we must stand for the client and we have to support and stimulate the client. So next one is clients and caseworkers are interdependent. So they are interdependent. So the client and the caseworkers are different. They must not be in each situations. So that is a client and caseworkers are independent. Caseworker relationship may have several therapeutic values. So a caseworker and a client relationships have many therapeutic values. So we must have to follow the values. Next one is, it's an improvement of a condition. So it is an improvement. For in each steps we have to improve the client's problems, and we must be going by step to solve the problems of the client. It is a development of personality. So it's develop the individuals and we have to develop the individuals personality. It is a capacity building. So it is a building. It is a capacity building. So we can the client will be able to build a capacity, and he has the capacity to overcome the problems. So it is a capacity building. So next one is it is more adjustment within the society. It will have adjustments with the society. So we'll work with the society, we will move with the society, then we'll have a more adjustment with the society. Next one is in social casework, relationship needs outside help. So as a social casework is one which deals with the client and the individual, but we need a support from outside also. So for example, we have a link with the society, with the families. So we need a help from the families also. So that one is in social casework, relationship needs outside help. Next one is going to say about the elements of social casework. So according to about the elements of social casework, Ilan as Perlman. So Perlman has defined the elements of social casework. He has said that a person with a problem comes to a place where a professional representative helps him by giving process. So he has defined as a person. Who's a person means it is a client. Then the problem. He has a problem and he will come to a place, that is as professional social workers. That is, he will represent him by giving a process. So that is a process. For helping them, he will give a process. So it is according to the theory, he has defined there are 5 elements of social casework. That they are person, problem, place, professional representative and process. So person, any individual is not a person in a social casework practice. Any individual is not a person in social casework practice. The person is a man, woman, child or anyone with social, psychological and economic problems. So the person is who may be the individuals or client may be a man or woman or child or anyone that is affecting with the society, that is both psychological and sociological, psychological and economic problems. So they can come with any problems, who finds or needs some help and assistance in his social living. So he has to find or some needs that help and assist in social living. So he can assist in the society, he will deal the problems and he will be as a normal human beings and solve in the social living. This person is known as clients. So the person who comes to a professional representative and the person who with the problems are considered as a client. When a person fails or cannot cope with his problems through his own effort and seeks social workers, help is considered as a client. So the client cannot be able to solve the problems as him. So he will be he has an and he will come to a professional social worker and he seeks help. So that is a social caseworker and a client. So this is known as a person. Next one we are going to see about problem. Problem is a situation where arise man surrounding obstacle and has attacked the advocacy of his effort to work effectively. According to Asin and Alva, problem in social casework means a stressful situation which has threatened or disturbed to a normal functioning of the client. So he has defined as say caseworker must be in a stressful situation and he is not be able to deal the problems. So he seeks a help for the caseworker. Problems may be in 2 conditions, such as intrapersonal problems and interpersonal problems. So he has decided Isin has defined as a problem has been defined into 2 conditions, that is intrapersonal problems and interpersonal problems. So now we can see about what is interpersonal problem. Interpersonal problem is a situation which affects only one man and impact of the situation is being felt by one particular man. So interpersonal problems is one, the client has a problem and the client only can deal the problem and he only seeks the help. So it's one dealing with the one man, that is one human being and one. So it is an interpersonal problem. Then is interpersonal problem. Interpersonal problem is a situation which affects 2 or more than individuals or a group. So it is what is means interpersonal means it is a situation that affects an individual and outsider and they have the same problems. So it is a one which affects the individuals and also the outsider. So it is known as a interpersonal problems. Then problem of a person can be social, psychological, physical, economical. So such problems of the client oriented from the following sources. So they have the client has a problems of social, psychological, physical and economical. So they seeks help from any of this. So they come under the sources of economic dissolution, social dissolution, economic maladjustment, social maladjustment, interpersonal conflict, interfamily conflict, personality disturbance. So economic, it can be an economic dissolutions. social distortion, so he'll have a problem with the social beings, etc. So economic maladjustment, he cannot adjust with the economic situations, so he seeks problems in that, so he needs help for this. Next is social maladjustment, interpersonal conflict, interfamily conflict and personality disturbance. So he has some personality disturbance. Next, place, where the client is going to deal with the problems. So place refers to the agency through which a professional social caseworker helps the client in social functioning. So the place means which reference where the representative of a social caseworker needs. So the client, the caseworker is in any agency. It will be a professional caseworker, and it helps in the client to deal with the social functioning. According to Astin and Aladdin, a social caseworker agency is an organized institution which renders service materials or non-materials for the solutions of their problems. So he defines as a social caseworker is an agency, will be an organized structure, organized institution, and they will receive materials and not materials and help the client. So the agency is formed into two types, that is public agencies and private agencies. Public agencies refers to those agency which is run by the state help. So the public agency, which one is help, is like state help. He seeks help from the state. Then private agency. Private agency refers to those agencies which is run by the voluntary contribution and aided from the state. So it is not, the funds will not be run by the state governments. So then it is a voluntary. So it is a voluntary organization which will run. So that is known as private agency. So these are the places where the caseworker will deal, and they will deal with the problem. According to Coleman, there are three main factors that determine the classification of the agencies. They are their source of support, their source of professional authority, their special function and area of concern. So it is a source of support. It's a source of support, and there is a source of professional authority. There will be professional workers dealing with in the agencies. There is special function and area of concern. So it is a place where the special concern. For example, for children, we'll have some agencies running for that. So if some of the children have any problems, they'll deal with that problems. So they'll go refer to the same agency, and they will deal with the problems. Next is professional representative. What is professional representative? Professional representative means social caseworker. That means a professional representative is a social caseworker. A caseworker should be skillful in establishing relationship with the client and find out the client's problems and solutions. So a caseworker must be a skillful. He must maintain the skillful relationship, and he must establish a relationship with the client, and he has to find the client's problem and the solutions. According to Hussain and Aladdin, by social casework is meant a professional person employed by a social agency who possess knowledge, skill and techniques of a social casework. So a caseworker will have a knowledge, skills and techniques of social casework. So he must be a knowledgeable person. He must use the skills of the social casework, and he must use his techniques and to deal the problems of the client. So social casework as the obligation towards his professions, his agency, his client, his own self. So he must be a professional. Then he must be working in an agencies. Then he must be deal with the client. Then his own self. He must be skillful, knowledge to and techniques. He must be skillful. The caseworker designation varies with the working place. So the caseworker designations. So in every agency, the caseworker must not deal with the same designation. He must be in different fields. So he will be dealing with different places. So such as medical caseworker, psychiatric caseworker. So it can be dealt as a medical caseworker and psychiatric caseworker. Process. We are going to see about process. Process means a series of action. Process. It is an action. That means a process. It is a main thing. Now we are going to deal with the client, and the process has been going to take place. But in the social casework practice, process refers to a series of actions which are taken with the view to helping the clients and to solve the problems. So here we will take a serious action to deal with the problems of the clients. But this does not mean that all the problems of a client cannot be solved by the caseworker. So what problems the client will deal, the caseworker can deal with helping the client in that same problem. So he can't, as a caseworker, he cannot deal with all the problems. The specific problem of the client can be dealt as by the caseworker. A caseworker selects the problem solving process by observing the client's motion, emotions, desires and abilities. So as the sections goes on, the caseworker will relate with the client and sees the emotions, the activities, the abilities of the client and then deal with the problems of the client. If he cannot find out or select the problem solving process of the client for the client, he can refer him to others. So by dealing with them, by using the problem solving method, if the caseworker cannot find the problem in any help the client, then he refers to others. In problem solving process, there are 5 phases. So the problem solving process is more 5 phases. That is psychosocial study, diagnosis, treatment plan, evaluation and follow up. So the caseworker will follow these phases to deal the problem of the client. That is first he will study of the client, then he will diagnose the client, then treatment plan. He will make a treatment plan and he will be doing according to it, and evaluation. Then he will, after planning, he will do an evaluation and then follow up. He will follow up the client. There are many, now we are going to see about the principles of social casework. There are different agencies where every agencies have some rules and regulations. So all the agencies have many rules and regulations. The fundamental rules which guide the caseworker in action are called as a principle of social casework. So the fundamental rules which will be obtained for the caseworker and he will do is known as a principles of social casework. These principles are classified into 2 different types, differential principles and generic principles. The differential principles refers to those principles which help the caseworker to diagnose case in different conditions. So differential caseworker, it means the caseworker is diagnosed in different conditions, and generic principles, the generic principles refers to those principles which can be applied in all conditions of casework practice. The generic principles are classified in 7. So we are using the generic principles to say there are many, that means principles of acceptance. The acceptances, we have to accept the client and deal with the worker. That for example, worker, acceptance and client. The worker means the social caseworker, he will accept the client and he will deal with the client. Next slide. Principle of communication. So we must have a communication, a good communication in the, there must be a good communication between a social caseworker and the client. So the communication takes place in 2 ways. Through word discussions relating the problem, through feelings and expression. So there must be a verbal communications and non-verbal communications. Next we are going to see about the principles of this is going to see about principles of participation. Participation means to take part. Participation means we have to take part. It must be find out the effective solution of the problem, assess the client's strength and weakness, increase the client's confidence. So we must participate with the client's problems and we must see about the strength and weakness of the client and increase the client's confidence. Next slide. Principles of self-determination. So self-determination provides the right of freedom of client in making choice. So self-determination means the client must have a freedom to decide decision and to choice in solving problem process. So but the right is not limited, it is limited by the client's capacity to make decisions. So the client has a certain capacity and he must deal with the capacity and take decision according to the bias of agencies. These are by the law, by the moral code of conduct, by the agency. So it all speak under the by the law, by the moral code of conduct and by the agencies. So under this principle, a caseworker help the client to see the problems clearly. He will see the problem clearly, help the client to activate own dominant resources. He will activate the client and dominate the resources, create a favorable environment in which the client feels free, not manipulate any decision directly and not urge the client to accept his decisions. Next slide. That is principles of confidentiality. The principle of confidentiality is there must be a confidence between the secret maintained by the client and the social caseworker. So next slide. Principle of individualization. So individualization means analyze an individual not from a single accept but from the various accept. So you must see an individual, a person from the various accept. So under these principles, a caseworker will be free from bias and prejudice, need knowledge of human behavior, keep ability to listen and observe, keep ability to move at the client pace, keep ability to enter the feelings of the clients. So these are the essentials of the individualizations are preparation of an interview, privacy,